Woo! Top of the morning to you. All right, let's get the gambling going on. There you go. The gambling has been activated. Nervous Army over on Twitch. What up? What's up to all my Twitch people, man? Yo, I had a thought, chat. Okay, I had a thought. So, like right now, right? We are multi-stream. We multi-stream on Twitter. We multi-stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Okay? And I know there's a lot of passionate Twitch people, and I know there's like a bunch of stuff on Twitch that I haven't done. Like, you know, emojis and certain things. It probably looks like shit over there. And I'm sorry. But I had this thought, and I think one of the ways we can solve this and make it cooler for the Twitch people is if I were to do a couple of streams just on Twitch. Like maybe we do some gaming streams, and it's like just on Twitch. And then like you guys can help me out and be like, okay, well you got to do this, that, you know, second and the third to kind of get the Twitch up to speed. And stuff like that. So I felt like maybe doing something like that would be fun, you know? So hopefully I can do that. Maybe I'll take a crack at it next week. That'd be kind of cool, huh? Maybe that would be cool. How's the back? I mean, it's a lot better. It's still like a little off. I think the truth, like I've got to get back into the gym. I'm a little nervous to get back into the gym, but I got to get back into the gym. And I really want to work my core. It might be a little bit before I go straight back again. And I was doing a lot of back stuff, so I'm going to let that chill. But, yeah, I need to strengthen the core. I think that's part of the reason why my back got all messed up. So, yeah, I got a 3-day weekend, and now I'm super high right now. Well, there you go. Smoke them if you got them. That sounds kind of fun. I have a really fun weekend ahead, man. Let me know what plans you guys have for the weekend. Hey, Alex P, over on Twitter. What's up? I see you, baby. It's weird having like the multi-stream chat thing up. I do see a lot of different people from the other platforms come in, and it's cool. But like the Twitter or the YouTube chat is faster. So it's just weird. I guess the main thing is like I just haven't figured out the multi-streaming thing perfectly yet, and I want to kind of adjust on that so I can be more in touch with everybody all over, okay? But yeah, let me know what kind of plans you have. I'm so excited. My buddies are all coming into town, and we're going to be playing some Warhammer. Oh! Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Did you get any CBD for your back? I actually did not. That is interesting, though. Maybe I should look into that. Maybe that would be good. Let's see here. We had an Easter rave Wednesday. I'm still tripping from it. What the fuck? An Easter rave. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like something. That definitely sounds like something. 40th B-Day party for my best friend tomorrow. D&D stream on Sunday. Ooh, that's nice, man. That sounds great. Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Buddies are coming into town, so like this afternoon, we'll all meet up and we'll play a couple Warhammer games. We'll probably hang out tonight. Gonna play some Warhammer tomorrow a little bit, and then everybody will kind of go their own way, and we'll, you know, celebrate Easter and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, anytime I can get the homies together and play some Warhammer, it's always great. I always really enjoy it. So I'm excited for that. Do you throw colored eggs around? Yeah, at like the rave. That would be something. That would be something. I think we're gonna try to do a little Easter egg hunt thing with Liam on Sunday, maybe in the morning before we head out to my dad's. Dylan, thanks for the 10, man. That's generous. Says, does it count as extra credit if I smashed my son's preschool teacher yesterday? What the fuck? What the fuck? What are you on about, Dylan? And look, I don't know how to answer that question other than probably should have been the guidance counselor if you were really thinking about it. You know what I mean? It seems like you made probably a poor choice there, depending on the entire situation. So yeah, no. Hey, look, anybody got cool plans for the weekend other than fucking Dylan, of course? Keep that shit to yourself, Dylan. You know, appreciate you. What do you guys got going on? Anybody else? You say congratulations. Yeah. Congrats. Good for you. Sounds like extra credit. Playing BG3, no life in it. That's awesome. All of a sudden, why did it get so hot in here? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, plan these things and then it like gets all hot in here. It's all crazy. Hoser over on Twitter. What's up, man? Good to see you. Golf today and tomorrow, baby. Okay. Got some golf going on. That'll be fun. I think I tried golf like once when I was in high school. I was terrible at it, and I pretty much said I'd never do it again. But maybe when I get a little older, I'll get back into it. Sorry, should I leave so it can cool down? Bow chicka wow wow. Spending time with friends and family. Yeah, that'll be fun. Probably a lot of family stuff for a lot of people. Easter's kind of a big deal for a lot of people. I smashed my mom's retirement home manager. Is that extra credit? Wow. This is turning into a weird Reddit thread. Let's everybody calm down, okay? I know it's crazy. I know it's the year 2024. The world's topsy-turvy. Everything's upside down. It's probably all because of Diddy. Let's be honest. In fact, put a 1 into the chat if you're still fucked up on the whole Diddy thing. Is the whole Diddy thing still got you guys going crazy? Is that what's going on? Is that why you guys are acting out? Sheesh. Yeah, it is kind of wild, huh? Diddy is innocent? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Dude had it coming? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild situation. I wonder if it'll turn into anything else. You know, I think that's the big question a lot of people have is like, is this going to snowball into something else? Yeah. I guess we'll see. Is there a TLDR on the topic? Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. Let's get into the TLDR of the stream. We're definitely going to talk crazy Avengers versus X-Men stuff. That will be like the main topic. Okay, so I got a couple of things I want to talk about. Invincible. I want to talk about Bad Batch, and then we're going to get into the X-Men thing because I really do think there's a good chance they do Avengers versus X-Men before Secret Wars. There's a new article and report, I guess, from Alex Perez over on the Cosmic Circus, and I wanted to kind of explain the report and then talk about why I think it makes sense. Yeah, so we'll kind of get into that. It's crazy. Like, I think it's probably the move, and there's some evidence that essentially Marvel looked at what was going on, and they were like, bro, we need the X-Men. And we need the X-Men, like, now, you know, because shit's going off the rails a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to get into that. And I think it's a good move. And honestly, I think it's wild. You know, I think it's wild. I think it would be really, really cool if they go that direction. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It'll be fun. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of kind of interesting angles on it. And, yeah, so that's what I want to talk about with that. Now, I do also want to mention, ladies and gentle beings. What the hell? I still haven't figured out this stupid music. I don't understand why we're having issues with the music like that. But I did want to say 50 hours to go. About 2 days, right? Yeah, about 2 days. Ready to go on the Unity Kickstarter. And also, what the fuck, man? Just fucking play. Like, when I get the shit figured out, just fucking do it. Oh, my God. What the fuck? Okay. So, 50 hours left to go. 203 backers. Almost to 11 grand. Pretty cool. And if you want to get in on the Kickstarter, man, you've got 50 hours to go. Okay. So, we've got the collector tier open back up for people. 50 hours, man. If you don't get in on the collector thing this time, it is done. It is closed. And we're not going to reopen that can of worms because it's been crazy over in that Discord. So we're going to, let it go after this. So if you have any interest in becoming a collector, definitely get that done in the next 50 hours. Also, I have something going on. If you guys want to help me out, this would actually be really helpful. I did something kind of crazy. Okay, let me see here. I did something kind of crazy. And I'm going to retweet this right now. Maybe say it like this. Just 2 days left. Okay. Boom. I just shared this tweet. And I need you guys to go to my Twitter and like it and retweet it and like it again. Get on your grandma's account and like it again and do it again and do it again. Okay? I just did something crazy yesterday where I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'll put the link to the first chapter of Unity on a tweet. I'll literally just tweet it out. And if people are curious, you could literally go to the link on this thing. You can download Unity Chapter 1, read it for yourself. If you dig it, back the book on Kickstarter. You know, we could use the help, we could use the support, and you'll be one of the first people on the planet to hold the entire graphic novel in your hands and read it and smell it and touch it and do whatever you want to it. You know, the guy, take it to your son's teacher. And, you know, see what he or she thinks about it, you know? So there you go. Lots of fun stuff to be done with the Unity comic book. So in all seriousness, like the tweet, share it out. Yeah, I'd love to get a couple of last-minute backers in the next 2 days. Get people to check it out. A lot of fun stuff going on with Unity, man. The book is... I mean, it's awesome. You know, I think the main reason I want to get the first chapter out to as many people as possible is that I stand behind the quality of it. I think that it's really fire. And I think if you read that first chapter, you're going to be like, damn, dude, this is actually a really good comic, and I want to know more about the story. So there you go. Check that out. Give it a little share if you wouldn't mind. I would appreciate it. Jedi John says, Happy Easter, nerds. Sending all the love from Texas. Be safe if y'all are traveling. Yeah, for sure, man. Happy Easter to you, too. Is the Kickstarter expensive and still available? Is it expensive and it's still available? I mean, I would say it's on the pricier side for sure. It's not like a cheap book, but it's also going to be like 150, 160 page big old graphic novel. And I think, too, the special edition is going to be fucking crazy, to be honest. It's going to be really crazy. It's probably going to be like 200 plus pages, big old chunky hardcover. So, yeah, no, I think it's certainly worth it for sure because it'll be high quality shit and it's a really good story. But is it cheap? No, it is not cheap because it's good. So get it if you can. And if not, you know, maybe in the future we'll have cheaper ways to get it, digital ways to get it, you know, stuff like that. So check that out. Special edition is a great value. Yeah, the special edition is going to be dope. I've been thinking a lot about the special edition, the appendix, the maps, some of the fun stuff we're going to put in there. Yeah. The stream you were on the other day seemed crowded, but they did seem to really be into comics. Yeah, for sure. No, that was a fun stream, man. I had a good time with those peoples. And I'll probably pop up on that channel again in the future. You know, I was talking to some of the collectors about this last night, but it's like one of the things I want to do in the next year and in the next couple of years is kind of integrate back into the actual comic book reading audience and the people that are actually like going to stores to buy comics. And, you know, comics is kind of fractured and it's going through a lot of shit. And, yeah, so, you know, via Unity, but via a lot of other stuff, too, because there's other books and projects I'm working on. Definitely want to get back into the comic book scene. So it was awesome. It was really cool to be able to hang out with them and talk about comics, get some insight, and also just talk about Unity, man. I like talking about the book, so yes, it was very good. It was a good stream. It did get a little crowded, though. Yeah, it got a little crowded, you know, towards the end. But I felt like it still had a pretty good flow for having that many people. So, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, shall we get into some of the news and some of the topics for today, and then we'll get into the Avengers vs. X-Men stuff, which is freaking awesome. Unity read-through on stream. I don't really want to read through it on stream. You know, one of the things I've realized about comics is, like, you can't really replace the experience of reading it, you know? Even stuff like Rob's channel, like in Comics Explained, like I like Comics Explained stuff, obviously, and I've watched like a shit ton of those videos, but nothing compares to like actually reading it yourself. There's a special thing that happens when you're actually reading the comic, and I think it can cheapen the experience somewhat if you try to recreate that for a live audience. I just don't think it works, you know? Like, it can work, it can be fun, but ultimately, especially with something like Unity, like, you've got to just read it, man. Like, that's the best way you're going to experience it is if you just read it. So, you got to read it. You got to check it on out. Check it on out. Good stuff. I saw somebody asking about X-Men 97. Dude, it's so good. X-Men 97 is exceeding all my expectations. It's really awesome. Have you been looking for publishers for Unity? No, not yet. I want the book. I want the first volume to be done before we pitch. So we've got illustrations started in chapter 3. Colors are finishing up in chapter 2. We got to do chapter 4, chapter 5, and then there's an epilogue. And then we'll pitch it. Once we have the whole thing done, then we'll pitch. And yeah, I'm going to pitch to a lot of publishers. I'd love to get into Image. I think Image would be the move. But yeah, we're going to see what we can do. For sure. I'm ordering this dope Dune Deluxe hardcover box set with blue page edges. Whew! That sounds great, man. It's exceeding all Josh's expectations, says I'm B. Tyler. Oh, well done. Well said. Goblin Queen. Yeah, dude, how fucking awesome was the Goblin Queen, huh? Yeah, I said it before, but I really do think that the show is better than Invincible. And you know what? That's kind of funny because I want to talk about Invincible. But, you know, before I get into talking about some of the more positive aspects of it, yeah, you know what? Let's just talk Invincible. Let's just get into Invincible. So, I guess first question is, how many of you guys have watched the new Invincible, right? I kind of want to just get them, like, how many people are even watching this show every week when it comes out? Because I'm seeing, like, no conversation on Twitter. I've looked at some videos from certain channels. They're doing okay. You know, it's not like it was for the first season. And I think that a couple of different reasons why. I think obviously the first season kind of comes out when lockdown was still a thing, so people were kind of just in the house more. Also, there were a lot of stuff gets like delayed and pushed out, and Invincible was just there, and it was like awesome. And so I felt like the first season of Invincible kind of struck lightning a little bit, got a little bit lucky with the timing, and had this like huge windfall. And I think people were really, really into it, and it's kind of been a shame to watch the fall off a little bit, right? Because ultimately, I do think Invincible has been severely hurt by the delay. And I think to a degree, it's also been hurt by, you know, the separation, you know, because they split this 8-episode thing into 2 4-parts in separate years by months and months. And I think that's kind of whack. I think going back to the 3 a.m. release schedule is whack. And then the ads, man, I got to say, you know, the ads are horrible. They load the Invincible episodes with a ton of ads. So I think there's a lot of stuff going, you know, kind of against the show. I think the most recent episode, which was the Anissa episode, it gets there and it's really good, and it shows a lot of why Invincible is so beloved and why I think they absolutely have a lot of juice and a lot of interesting stuff they can pull from to keep us captivated and to keep us excited for a long time. It was like a fire episode. Probably best episode of the season. However, I gotta say, even as I was watching this newest episode, they cut some corners. You know, so there's that shot where he goes to the convention, he's talking to the guy about the animation, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, and they're making fun of how, like, animation or whatever, they hide things, make it easier, do this, that, second, and the third. And it was like, I get what they're trying to do. It's in the comics. Like, in the comics, they kind of make fun of, like, using the same image over and over again in cartooning. And like, I think it actually plays a little bit better in the comics. For some reason, it just works in the medium where they show the multiple images, and then because he's like, "Don't you think that's a little like cheap or whatever?" And he shows him just for like several beats, and he's like, "No, not really." And it's funny, okay? The problem is though, even within that episode, there are several moments where they're doing those things and cutting those corners. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was parts of the fight with Rex and that crazy, I don't even know what it was, like lizard chimera thing or whatever that he's fighting in the beginning. There are literally parts that they just cut to like still images with little like explosions over it. And it's like they really do cut corners in the show. And it's like the animation is just not there up to par. And I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, man, like X-Men 97 is literally better than this show. From an animation perspective, you cannot deny that. Invincible has some really kick-ass moments, and there's some really good animation in Invincible. But, like, they literally are cutting those corners. So it all adds up to me as, like, I'm kind of having a bad time. You know what I mean? Because I have, sort of lost the momentum. There's a loss of conversation surrounding the show. The show's trying to be cute and kind of make light of a situation that is a lot of people are really fucking mad about. Like, look, right, wrong, or indifferent, a 3-year delay, splitting your second season into 2 parts, dude, that's going to piss a lot of motherfuckers off. So I personally feel like you can be tongue-in-cheek about that. You run the risk of seeming like a real asshole. And on top of that, the episode itself is like cutting corners, man. And I'm just like, oh, bro, like Invincible, like what are you guys doing? And I wonder if they're going to be able to get it back, because I think the last 2 episodes are probably going to be really good, really fire. It's going to depend on how crazy they get, how much conversation is generated, and then also when does the next season come out, right? Because if they delay this season all the way to 2025, maybe even later, like, I don't know, man. Wait, next week is the finale? No way. So wait a minute. There's only 1 episode left? Oh, bro. Then I don't think they can do it. I mean, look, it's speculation, right? I'm just giving my take, but I don't think they can do it. I think that 1 episode will hit next week, and even if it's fire, I'm telling you guys, 0 conversation. Like, are you guys seeing conversation about it? Are you guys, like, watching videos about it? Are you really engaged in Invincible? Because it just doesn't seem like it's there, which is weird, because I was really looking forward to kind of maybe jumping in on Invincible and covering it more, because, you know, Marvel and Star Wars kind of having a rough go of it. And so I would love to kind of like pivot into some Invincible stuff, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't see any of that shit. I don't think it's actually jumped into like the true top 30 trending any day. Not the day it releases, not the day after it releases. I don't think I've seen it ever jump into the actual top 30 trending, which is crazy. You know what I mean? So it's just like sad. It almost feels like you can't really talk about Invincible without talking about the fall off of Invincible. I do think it fell off kind of hard. And it's also just wild to watch what's happening with X-Men 97. Like, some of you guys probably think I'm just being a fanboy, but like, I'm not kidding. X-Men 97's animation is incredible. There's not a single frame that feels cheap. There's none of it. Like, it's all on point. And in episode 3 especially, you get not only some of the most fluid, incredible action sequences in animation I've seen, but you're also pulling in these weird, trippy, push the limit kind of ideas, like the whole weird, Goblin Queen hell sequence and Magneto and Rogue with their flesh melting off into each other, the baby coming through vortexes, like all that shit. It's like top notch. It's truly great. Awesome as far as from a creative perspective, but it's also fucking animated so well. Like it's so fluid and it feels so good. I understand that it's 10 episodes that are like a half hour, so it's like a 5-hour kind of a thing here. And what they're doing with Invincible is perhaps more involved, right? I totally get that, but I just think you can't, like, it's weird how things go. But I personally just think you look at what's going on with X-Men 97, it is outclassing Invincible in ways that I certainly didn't expect. I really didn't expect. The other thing that's kind of wild is, Marvel Studios here, guys, kind of creeping up. They might actually have some fire stuff. Like I was told just yesterday that this Wakanda show, the Wakanda show that they're cooking up for animation, from an animator's perspective, we don't know much about like the world building and the story and things of that nature, but I was just told from an animation perspective, it's fire. It's going to really surprise people. It has a little bit of the, what's the show? The really good one on Netflix with all the League characters, Arcane. So it apparently has like kind of an Arcane sort of a vibe, and it's apparently way better than a lot of people are expecting from basically just an animation perspective. You got to wonder, like, is freshman year going to be that? Is Marvel Zombies going to be that? And then if they start revitalizing, like, the 90s animated Spider-Man cartoon and stuff like that, like, all of a sudden Marvel Studios goes from a place where, hey, man, the animated stuff just amounts to what if shows, which what if is fine, but it's very, like, the animation isn't the best in what if. It's very like unfluid, very robotic, kind of CG based. And it serves its purpose. Stylistically, it's fine, but it doesn't doesn't blow you away. You know what I mean? And it's all of a sudden like, bro, if they really put a couple of hits together, all of a sudden the animated side, Marvel animation, the animated side of what MCU is doing could kind of be considered dope and could really be a force of nature out there in the media landscape. So it's crazy. It's just weird how these things go. But I wanted to say, like, Invincible, the last episode, maybe the best of the season. I like this season. I'm rooting for the show, but I also kind of can't deny that, like, bro, X-Men 97 is eating their lunch, and a lot of things are getting in the way of fans being able to enjoy this show. I really wonder where the future goes. So, just kind of wanted to bring you up to date on some of that stuff. And also, what do you think? Like, do you think Invincible can get that momentum back? What's it going to take? Is it over? All that kind of stuff. Like, what do you guys think? What do you make of that? Real curious. I'm real curious. I see no options other than to blame KK for this. Oh, you know what's funny? We're going to talk about Bad Batch in a second here. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It's over for season 2? Oh, no. I'm still enjoying it so far. I am too. I'm enjoying it too, but like a couple shots in the last night's episode where I'm just like, bro, that shit's unacceptable. Like, you took 3 fucking years and you're doing this shit? Like, I can't sit there and honestly say it's top shelf. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? Don't split season 3 into 2 parts. Yeah, I agree. That would be whack, dude. Amazon pushing the second half of the season was their grave mistake. Yeah, I mean, would love to know what the thought process there is, X-Men 97 is literally just ripping from the comics. Yeah, and yet it is better. Like, it's better, dude. Like, you can't deny the quality of that animation. Like, you're going to sit here and try to tell me that animation isn't top tier? It's top tier, bro. It's fucking flawless. Like, it's so fluid. It's so interesting. It's so vibrant. It's a visual feast, god damn it. And also, like, Invincible, Trev, I'll educate you here for a second, because I know you're a normie, Trev. I know, like, you try to act like you're this big sweaty nerd, but, like, you're normie as fuck. Let me explain something to you. Invincible was actually a comic book as well. And a lot of the shit they're adapting is being pulled from the comics. So, it's like a similar kind of situation. Yeah, so. Or maybe Josh isn't impressed by Invincible anymore because of his standards went up after Unity. I think Unity is fire, bro. I think it stands toe-to-toe with a lot of these stories, and that's no cap. But it's also too early for me to be saying that. I have to try to put the humble hat on and not try to tell everybody that, like, yo, I'm the fucking shit. And after you read this book, you're going to recognize and buckle up. You know what I mean? It's too early. I got to at least have the book finished before I can say that. Like, imagine being that guy, you know? But once the book's done, then maybe we'll get out there and talk our shit a little bit, because it's legitimately better than, I'd say, 90% of the comics that are out there right now. And I'm not talking about indies. I'm talking about books. Like, this shit is literally better than like 90% of what's out there. And the first chapter of Unity is the worst Unity will ever be. It is literally just going to get better and better and better and better. But again, like I said, it's too early to do all that. So let's reel it in a little bit. Oh, great. Here's a hot take from Fanjecture. Can't wait to read this shit. Here we go. Let's read it in Adam voice. Comparing X-Men 97 and Invincible is tough. They aren't really the same kind of show. Both comic cartoons, but each is looking for different outcomes and emotions. Both are great. God damn it, Adam, you made me look like a fool, because it's actually like a well-reasoned, balanced take. I expected you to be some kind of a hater or saying some silly shit. So thanks a lot. You just bamboozled me. I'm ending this stream. I'm done. I'm officially done, and I'm not having a good time. So thanks a lot, Adam. Okay, can we talk a little bit about Bad Batch, guys? Would you care if I talked a little bit about Bad Batch, and then we'll get into the Avengers versus X-Men shit? Better start talking about Star Wars? Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. Josh is just high off of those X-Men juice. Oh, hell yeah, I am, and it's so good. X-Men flying high. You know how I feel. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Bad Batch. So, far be it from me to deliver what would be known as a hot take. But, I think Bad Batch might be the best Star Wars show we've gotten in the last 4 or 5 years. And I'm not even kidding. And this season 3 in particular, I think, is maybe the best Star Wars show. It is the best season of Star Wars content that we have gotten in a long time. It is functionally better than Ahsoka. It is way better than Andor, not Star Wars, stupid face, everybody that likes it is a pedantic butthole show. It is way better than Kenobi. It is way better than the Book of Boba Fett. It is way better than The Mandalorian Season 3. It's fire, man. I can't lie. It's not better than Tales. It's not better than Tales of the Jedi. But Tales of the Jedi is also like a little mini series, right? I think you got like 6 episodes. They vary greatly in length. And Tales is a little bit more of its own kind of condensed thing. I don't know if I would even describe it as a show. But when it comes to Bad Batch, I legitimately think that, like, I've been watching it each and every week. I'm not really covering it beyond talking about it on the stream with you guys, but I'm legitimately in awe of a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and I've been taking notes, and when it's all said and done, I'm going to do a video that kind of breaks down why I think it is the best Star Wars show that we've had in the last 3 to 4 years. And so I've kind of been pulling together my thoughts for like a big old video that breaks all of that down. Hey, Parker Twibs, hey, what? Gifted 10 memberships? My goodness, bro. Thank you so much. That's so generous. And also, like, you don't need to do all that, bro. You know, You don't need to do all that, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. So yeah, as I was saying, like, I'm working on that video already. I don't think the last couple episodes are gonna let me down. I've heard, if anything, they make it even better, and it's gonna get real crazy, real sad, real emotional. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm blown away. I will just point out a couple of things I think Bad Batch is doing that a lot of these other shows have failed to do. Number one is character development. And it's character development for this crew. And it's dude, it's kind of wild, like Filoni. And trust me, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett, because another side of this is sort of how they're not getting the credit they deserve. And we're going to get into that. But I do want to say, because I do think Dave still has a lot to do with this stuff, Dave did it again with the character of Omega. This is a character that when I first saw Bad Batch, I was like, oh, geez, like, here we go again. Kind of annoying, whiny girl that feels super out of place. What the fuck? And I just never really saw myself becoming attached to the character of Omega, or, you know, giving a shit about that, you know? And as far as the Bad Batch themselves, you know, my attachment to them kind of just amounted to they're dope. And I like those episodes in the final season of Clone Wars where they set them up. It's kind of like the A-Team, really interesting, but I didn't really have like a strong attachment to the characters. Throughout the course of the 3 seasons, you do this wild thing with like conflict and resolution and character arcs and character motivations. And I find myself in this last season being hit in the feels a lot more than I expected to be, and a lot more than I've experienced in a lot of these other Star Wars shows. Like, that's just like real talk. Like, it feels authentic, and I care about the characters. I care about the world that the characters inhabit. I'm fascinated by how it's going to change, how it's already changed. And there's just a lot of like sort of come home moments, really good emotional beats in this 3rd season. And it even amounts to, like, you know, slight spoilers. Asajj, and even having Asajj Ventress come back into the show, I absolutely loved. Oh, you got the job? My man. Dude, that's great news. That's great news, bro. That's awesome. Happy for you. You know, it's I love this last episode, and I felt like the way they used the Asajj character was brilliant. It was brilliant, dude. From a character design perspective, her motivations, the way in which the distrust is there, the lingering past, the idea of her arc changing, I thought it was really cool. So I just want to speak, you know, the praises of that. I also think the show's handling the concepts and the idea of the Force really well, which is super important, obviously, to Star Wars, and that morality is just there. So, like, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't want to put the, you know, we don't know what Acolyte's going to be like, okay? But I'm going to venture a guess that if Acolyte fails, and it's kind of the thing we are all worried that it's going to be, I would probably have to then say that an animated show, Bad Batch, in a single episode with an old character in Asajj, literally handles the concept of dark and light and the Force better than how this live action show is going to handle it, right? So I really, really enjoy the depth and the craftsmanship and just the love that is being put into Bad Batch Season 3. And I definitely have to shout out Brad Rao and Jennifer Corbett. And I'll pull up a tweet here because I think it's important to also illuminate this for a lot of people, okay? So this actually comes from Jordan Mason, who can sometimes be a poopy butthole, but he's actually spot on for this one here. And he says here, this is not a hater post, but seeing so many felonious cooking type posts in regard to Bad Batch is a huge discredit to Brad Rao, supervising director, and Jennifer Corbett, the head writer. This is their show and their work we're seeing pay off here. Now, somebody kind of pushes back here a little bit, and, basically, like, this is what it is. I want to explain like what is actually going on. In order to do that, I kind of have to explain like the truth of the Clone Wars. So at some point, what Clone Wars becomes for George Lucas is he comes in like 2 days a week. And he does like a big meeting with all the writers and just talk to all the writers and kind of just keeps everything on track. He likes introducing fun ideas. So like, for instance, like, George would come in and be like, you're bringing back Darth Maul, and then just fucking leave and let them figure it out. Right. But that's like the extent of what was going on. So a lot of decisions still funneled through George, but ultimately it was Dave and his team that's creating it. They're in the trenches. They're making Clone Wars. That's what it was. Well, now Dave has kind of ascended to that position that George inhabited. He literally just shows up a couple of days a week, gives them notes and kind of keeps them on track and then lets them do their thing. And the truth is, this is very honestly, I think future Star Wars creators that are just absolutely killing it. These people could potentially be the shepherds of Star Wars in the future via either more animation or even live action. Like Jennifer Corbett, this is incredible writing. Like it's really, really good. And I think Brad Rao is doing an incredible job as a supervising director. There's a lot of craftsmanship in this show that I personally really appreciate. So it's important to recognize that we have this sort of fresh crop of, it probably sounds funny because they're probably older people that have been with the company for a long, long time, but they're finally kind of getting their credit or their due as being the creative forces behind this season of the Bad Batch. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to put a sort of spotlight on Bad Batch because I legitimately think it's awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think it's really getting a lot of views. And I think Star Wars is still Star Wars and still has all of its particular issues. And, a lot of those issues are not the fault of people like Jennifer and Brad. And I think they're doing great work in the best way that they can. It's not going to fix Star Wars, you know what I mean? But for those of us that are still kind of like hanging, on, I think this is a dim light in a dark tunnel and truly incredible stuff. And so I want to sort of praise it. And I hope that they go on to do more stuff. And, there's still people that really love Star Wars that just want to get in there and make stuff that honors the legacy of what George created, and just kind of does great Star Wars. So I'd love to know what you guys think. I'm really, really enjoying this third season of the Bad Batch for sure. What do you guys think? What do you think? Does anybody agree? Does anybody agree with me that it's the best Star Wars show we've had in the last several years? I'm not seeing enough movement. I'm not seeing enough movement in the crowd. Normies don't seem to care about Star Wars anime. No, that's true. Agent Llama says no. You're wrong. Hey, guess what, Agent Llama? You're just wrong. It's okay. It's dope. Hell yeah. Yep. Andor, how dare you? It's great, but you are funny. No, you're funny. Yes, sir. It is awesome. It is awesome. Here comes freaking Adam again. Star Wars, like comic material, sometimes lives better in animation because live action inherently has limitations on what you can put on the screen. Interesting. Bad Batch doesn't have the depth you're talking about with these characters. Oh, I disagree. I think there's a lot of depth there. But I think, like, here's what you'll have to do. You'll have to wait, Agent Llama. You'll have to wait until the season's over and I make the big video, okay? And once you watch the big video and maybe like you EFAP the big video or, you'll get it. You'll understand where I'm coming from. And I'm always right and I always have the best points and commentary's just goated and shit. So, you know what it is. Okay. That's enough of that. Last season, right? Yeah, no, I think it is the last season. Hunter's depth. Don't talk to me about Hunter. How dare you? Typical Star Wars fan. I hate this character. She sucks. She isn't a good idea. And then all of a sudden, she is great. What a great idea. You guys are funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want from me. Like, that's the same thing that happened with Ahsoka. Ahsoka was fucking annoying as shit. She was, dude. Like, she was awful. And yet, they developed her over time, and I became endeared to the character through what I consider to be just, like, good writing and shit. So, I'm trying to give a compliment. I don't understand your perspective. Do you think that it's like a lesser, like I'm less of a fan because I thought she was annoying at first? Like, I just don't get it. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, that's what it is. And that's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? What do you think the end of Bad Batch will be like? Lots of death, says JCool66 over on Twitch. Yeah, no, I think it'll be probably pretty heartbreaking. I think it'll be pretty rough, but we'll see. We shall see. How many more episodes? That's a good question. Does anybody in chat know? How many more episodes? Do you think Disney Star Wars should stick to animation and give up on live action movies and shows? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look, they just have to get their shit together and make good content. I mean, at the end of the day, like, a lot of us are really worried about Acolyte, right? But Acolyte could be dope. I still withhold the right, or I reserve the right to still be like, yeah, no, Acolyte is fire. I don't know that it will be. You know what I mean? I don't know that it will be. But absolutely could be the case, yeah. Red Proctor with a 10. Appreciate you. What's my take on Shogun? Dude, I fucking love Shogun. The only thing about this Avengers vs. X-Men idea before Secret Wars worries me is Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. They aren't getting any younger. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Appreciate the 10, too. That's really generous. I'm holding out Hood for Jedi 3 and Andor. What? Fire Kathleen? Oh, yeah, no. I mean, Kathleen should have been gone a long time ago. We shall see. We'll see how it all shakes out, though, okay? Okay, should we get into the Avengers vs. X-Men stuff? Do you guys want to talk about the Avengers vs. the X-Men's? Did you hear about Acolyte Season 2 being canned? No. I did not hear about that. I mean, where's that coming from? I don't even know. I mean, I was told... I'll tell you this. I was told that they are very confident in Acolyte. They really like it. And I was told they really want to do a season 2. Yeah. So, I mean, what does that mean for Lucasfilm? I have no fucking idea. Because Lucasfilm also thought The Last Jedi was going to be fire and change Star Wars forever. Lucasfilm has had a lot of misguided takes, you know what I mean? It's like the other day when we were watching the Leslie Headland interview, like it doesn't help at all for you to be like, oh, Kathy loved it. Like, this doesn't, that's like, you almost want to say like, well, Kathy was kind of skeptical, you know what I mean? Kathy thought it was a horseshit idea. She was like, no, let's have Indiana Jones get berated by this young lady for another 3 hours. You know, that's kind of what Kathy was on. And I was like, what if we didn't do that? You know, then all of a sudden you pique my interest. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, but yeah. So, God damn it. Look up the Park Place article. Park Place article. I've not heard of this Park Place. Look, if you link me the article, maybe I'll talk about it after this Avengers vs. X-Men portion of today's stream, because I'd rather just talk about this. You know, look, I get it. It's fun to like talk about Star Wars and to get all upset about it because it sucks and the sky is falling. But you know what's not falling sky? X-Men. Hey, man, let me ask you a question, chat. You guys ever hear of the X-Men? Throw a 1 into the chat if you've ever thrown a 1 into the chat And also if you like X-Men. You guys know about this? You heard about this? You know about X-Men? Josh, why hasn't Dave saved Star Wars? Llama, we're talking about X-Men, goddammit. I'll talk all about the other stuff later, okay? Named my son after an X-Men? Yo, that's crazy. What's your son's name? What's your son's name? Let me guess. Let's guess. It's so an X-Man name, huh? You named your son Dupe. I bet your son's name is Dupe. Right? Xavier? Colossus? Blob. That's also a good one. Although Blob was never really an X-Men. I don't even know if Dupe was, to be honest. So, Legion, Toad, Kitty Pryde, Leech, Scott. He named his son King Magnus. There you go. My son's Logan, literally named after the X-Men. That's cool. The Juggernaut. Okay, yeah. Should have named him Blob. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, here's the thing. Like, X-Men is kind of, I would dare I say it, the X-Men are kind of blowing up right now. Maybe that's a little bit preemptive. But, with X-Men 97 performing the way that it is, and a lot of people talking about it, I think that the chatter's been great on X-Men 97. And you have X-Men around the corner in Deadpool 3. And it's almost like they figured out over at Marvel Studios, man, people really like the X-Men. You know, the highest selling comic book of all time. The comic that was so popular that when we were broke in the 90s, we sold the license to those characters and went on to become a billion-dollar franchise under Fox. Yeah, that brand, that franchise, X-Men, seems like there's gold in them hills. The fuck are we doing over here with the goddamn She-Hulks and the Miss Marvels and the fucking Shang-Chi's and the Eternals, okay? It seems like there's some kind of a recognition over there that maybe we should just, do the X-Men. That kind of seems to be the thing for me. That seems to be what's going on, okay? Now, I want to take you to a new article written over on the Cosmic Circus, and this is Alex Perez going over some stuff here, okay? And we're going to read one section of this that's really important. And then I want to speculate on this and talk about why this is happening. Because in all seriousness, I would not be surprised if we see this shift actually realized and you start going hardcore on X-Men right away. Okay, so I want to read the whole article, but before we read the whole article, let's just kind of start with this, right? Let's kind of get right into the juice, okay? So this article is talking about the possibility of having Avengers versus X-Men. And this key line right here is really, really important. It says right here, according to sources, with Monica Rambeau trapped in another universe, her character is set to take center stage as one of the key players in the future that is to come. Her presence in another universe will be one of the main catalysts that will push the events of Avengers Secret Wars forward, as her presence in this alternate universe, seemingly implied to be the one inhabited by the X-Men, is headed for a collision course with the main 616 timeline. Okay, so TLDR, according to sources, Monica Rambeau is going to be the catalyst for events that are going to push Secret Wars forward, because it seems that universe that she's in is on a collision course with the 616 timeline. Okay? Now, on top of that, this whole article here is based around the idea that Avengers vs. X-Men could actually be adapted before we get to Secret Wars or before Secret Wars itself is wrapped up. Now, this is actually the second time Alex has talked about this publicly. In the wake of the Jonathan Majors trial coming to an end and a lot of that chaos, there was a big article they did over on the Cosmic Circus breaking down what they had heard about Kang and the future of the multiverse. They say a couple of really interesting things there. And this is all basically conversations being had at Marvel in the wake of the chaos that was last year and the situation with majors. Shit's fucked up. They got to figure out a way forward, and they're coming up with options. A couple of the options that they are coming up with do involve the X-Men, okay? And in that initial report, Alex literally says, sources are telling us that there have been conversations at Marvel on bringing the X-Men in a more prominent role much faster. And at the time, they were talking about Avengers versus X-Men, but Alex was kind of being vague about it, where he was like, yeah, but you can't really do Avengers versus X-Men because you don't have the X-Men established in 616, so that's kind of weird, okay? Now, another thing that's interesting here is you will probably recall, and just throw one in the chat if you remember this, that there were reports that 838 and 616 were on a collision course for each other. And there was a lot of speculation that, just like in the Jonathan Hickman Secret War book, you're going to end up with just two universes. And those two universes were very likely to be 838 and 616. That's what it seemed to be. And I remember Alex and some of the people, in the scooping community and stuff were speculating that perhaps the Iron Man that was not there in the 838 universe will seek revenge against 616. Okay? And that's a whole nother thing. Really crazy shit's being said out there. Like, Alex was implying that at one point Doctor Doom was also potentially going to be in the Illuminati for Multiverse of Madness. Okay? And at one point, you were going to have an evil variant of Tony Stark, whether it was going to be RDJ or whether it was going to be Tom Cruise. Those were serious discussions. And I was told that when you see all the Illuminati, there's an empty chair. That empty chair would have belonged to that Tony Stark. That's what I've been told, okay? Now, let's start to put all of this together. 838 versus 616. That kind of feels like something that was probably being established when Avengers 5 was still the Kang Dynasty and before there was this absolute panic over at Marvel. Okay? Now, that to me ties into a couple of different changes. I think that you look at some of these changes that were made at Marvel, you can start to see the logic of how this might be being put together. Because we know there were different endings for the Marvels itself. And I do remember, too, a lot of discussion about sort of some beef between, maybe Brie and Teyana and just sort of rift. And then potentially another layer to that would have been Nia DaCosta and just sort of a weird situation. I kind of now believe that could have something to do with the post-credit scene. Perhaps there was a version where Carol was the one that got stuck in the other universe or something like that. I'm not really sure. Because we know there were a lot of changes made to that movie, right? And a lot of people speculated, and I wonder if you're one of them. A lot of people speculated that the post-credit scene in the Marvels was going to be in the 838 universe. Technically, it still can be, right? And I think Kendall's one of those people that believes it still is or believes it still could be, right? But I think there was a serious effort there to distinguish between them, okay? Now, there were other rumors around that same time that 838 was going to be in Deadpool 3. How many of you guys remember that? We talked about this. There were rumors that 838 was going to be in Deadpool 3 and that the Illuminati of 838 might have, replaced members. And, this was going to be something that Deadpool might run into, and then he'll be in 838, and it's going to be significant. Well, we now know that a lot of changes were made to Deadpool 3. I did a video about this yesterday, but one of the big changes is that 70 to 75% of Deadpool 3 is going to take place on the Void. There was a different version of the movie that was going to take place in old Fox X-Men movies. Okay? So it seems like a lot of connections that originally would have tied 838 to 616 have been abandoned. Right? And so if you think about it, you have those changes to Deadpool, and it feels like they're restricting Deadpool and the Wolverine access to other X-Men universes. rumors that Monica was going to be involved with Deadpool 3, those have sort of been expelled as well. We don't think that's actually going to happen. Okay? So if you have this sort of plan in the background where you were building towards an 838 verse 616, okay? And I think that always did involve X-Men. I don't know how much it would have involved X-Men, but I think it would have involved a lot of X-Men. If you go from that and all of a sudden you're Marvel Studios and you're like, oh man, but what if we actually build it as this X-Men universe? What if we have it be Monica Rambeau? What if the reason the binary costume looks like shit in the post-credit scene is because they threw it together to try to make it look different than 838 because they shifted their reason? What if the reason that Deadpool 3 isn't visiting X-Men stuff is because Feige wants to leave that off to the side, establish an X-Men universe with traditional-looking versions of the characters that will inhabit the universe where Monica is at right now? And what if the new plan to build towards a conflict with an X-Men universe and an Avengers universe is something that they've been changing quietly behind the scenes for some time? A lot of these little changes start to make a lot more sense, okay? And so, to me, I actually think it would be brilliant. And I think if you build the current roster of Avengers, which, is, let's be honest, it's weak, right? It's a weak roster. But you got to get, Sam Wilson as Captain America has to have a dope movie, has to be, cool, and has to have some cool shit going on. And then you've got obviously Spider-Man. I think you need Tom Holland Spider-Man for that team. You've got Captain Marvel, but there's just not gonna be a lot of love and support for that character in there. I think Doc Strange is off doing his own thing. Thor's doing his own thing. But I think there's a way to build up a roster of Avengers that we care about, but we don't root for over the X-Men, right? And the reality is, one way to solve the problem of that group of Avengers being very weak is to make them fight against the fucking X-Men. A lot of us will be rooting for the X-Men, and I would be really curious, guys. Let's just say right now, we had a conflict, and it was between the 616 Avengers that we currently have and the X-Men from that universe with Beast. Who you got? Who are you going to root for? Right? I think a lot of people will be rooting for the X-Men. And I think with X-Men 97 coming out and being so good and resonating with so many fans, and you look at Beast, he's literally designed like Beast from X-Men 97 or the old 90s show. You look at Charles Xavier, he is designed off of that blueprint of the 90s show. A lot of stuff that we've heard about the X-Men in Deadpool 3 is that they will also be designed off of the 90s show. What you have is an establishment of an MCU version of the X-Men that we already know. It's you don't necessarily need to do all the work to develop those characters if they are variants of characters that have already been developed, of characters we already know and we already love, right? A lot of that legwork of development and writing is done for you because of the association that people have. So I think it could actually be a really clever way to set something up that would immediately be way more exciting than what you would currently have with this Avengers team fighting against almost any other villain. And the other thing that's kind of interesting here, Alex brings this up in his article as well. If it comes down to that, where it's an X-Men universe versus an Avengers universe, both of them are not antagonists. They're not bad guys, right? They just want their universe to survive. That's kind of compelling too, because it's you don't have to turn the X-Men into bad guys, but they're fighting for the survival of their universe. You don't have to turn the 616 Avengers into bad guys, but they're fighting for their universe, right? And so I think this is the way out. This is Marvel's perfect way out from a lot of the bullcrap that they have going on. And then the other thing that's really dope about it is that actually then translates perfectly into the Secret Wars stuff. Because then a lot of those X-Men characters that you establish via that movie and even some of the 616, boom, all of a sudden they're on Battleworld. And you still have that same, like, it'll still feel kind of like a through line with these different characters. So yeah, I personally think, guys, it's maybe the perfect way out of the situation that they have going on right now. And I also think they've already decided, and pretty much everybody behind the scenes knows it, okay? Last thing I'll say on this before we get into some other stuff. Do you guys remember recently Bob Iger was asked about, Marvel and the Marvel franchises, and he said something like, they're going to be focusing on their stronger franchises, but that's all I want to say on that for now. You remember that? I think he already knows. I think at some point they sat down and kind of just talked brass tacks, and it probably amounted to something like, hey, so when we paid $84 billion to get the X-Men back, basically, that's because they're really valuable, right? What the fuck are we doing then? Like, why aren't we utilizing the thing we paid $84 billion for, So I think that could potentially be a kind of kick in the butt or a catalyst for this. And I think if you look at the rumors and you look at how some of this stuff has shifted, I can personally see a thing going on behind the scenes where they already kind of have this plan and then they adjust it and they're like, yeah, let's just go heavy on X-Men. And so I think that would be kind of brilliant. So would this be an Avengers 5? It would either be Avengers 5 or it would be before Avengers 5. Or it's after Avengers 5. I think there's a lot of questions about what exactly is happening, because I have another big video coming out about how I think Avengers 5 might actually be World War Hulk. And I think there's evidence. And I think it's Maestro. And I think it's fucking awesome. So it could be that. But maybe what they do is they're like, actually, we need to push the Secret Wars stuff back a little bit. But what we can do is offer up a lot of the same shit. I mean, we were excited for Secret Wars because we want to see Hugh Jackman, Toby, we want to see all these people. So maybe you just do a little version of that with Avengers vs. X-Men. Multiversal. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of questions, but there's a lot of smoke here. And I don't think it's just smoke. I think there's fire here. And I think we might see an announcement San Diego Comic-Con. And as this becomes more clear, expect more and more updates about it. Because, look, Alex has great sources. They're really good over at the Cosmic Circus. And he, like I said, this is not the first time he's talked about this. This is something. Not sure what, but this is definitely something. So, boom. I'd also actually like to, if you guys are cool with it, I want to read this whole article so we can get like a good sense of like what they are talking about. Does that seem okay? Josh, will the Beyonder first appearance be in Secret Wars, or will he appear in a couple of movies before that? I don't really know, actually. That's a good question. Do you think after Secret Wars the MCU will do an expand universe stuff, some stuff with the Punisher, War Machine? Yeah, it's kind of too early to tell on that, but absolutely they're gonna try to crack open to some of that goodness for show. For show. Yeah. I think it would be cool to see James McAvoy and Fassbender return as Xavier and Magneto. I would like that too. From what I've heard, that's not really on the table though. Maybe they won't do Kang Beyonder anymore. There's no evidence that they're not still doing Kang Beyonder. I think Kang Beyonder is something they're really holding on to. Because I think they want to... look, this is basically what I think it is. Marvel wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want to come out clean and not make it seem like Kang was a big fuck up and they wasted all of our time and it was one of the stupidest things they've ever done as far as putting so many chips on one particular individual. It doesn't matter who the individual is. Like, just betting the farm on one individual seems kind of dumb. They don't want it to seem like that. So by shoving Kang out of the picture and then just bringing him back as the Beyonder, they can still kind of claim like, oh yeah, no, we had this plan. This is what we wanted to do the whole time and whatever. So they get to kind of avoid Kang and yet still make it seem like they didn't fuck Kang up. Does that make sense? That's what I think's going on. Basically. A Buddha Shark says, I wish they'd leave the Kang thread dangling and revisit in phase 8 or 9. Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they will. Okay, let's read this article. Let's actually like get into the full thing here, because I'm sure there's some interesting stuff in here, okay? Okay, how Marvel Studios could adapt Avengers vs. X-Men. X-Men. The Avengers vs. X-Men storyline is a comic event that Marvel Comics ran in 2012. It pitted two of Earth's mightiest teams against one another in a confrontation that changed the core of the comics 616 continuity. In the comic run, the Phoenix Force was fast approaching Earth, seemingly headed for Hope Summers, the adoptive child of Cable and therefore adoptive granddaughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey. At the time, the X-Men believed that the coming Phoenix Force was a good thing and that it would reinvigorate the mutant population. But the Avengers were like, hell nah. So the storyline might seem like it's too early for Marvel Studios to adapt. After all, the X-Men don't exist in the main MCU continuity yet and have barely been shown in the Marvel Multiverse. However, Marvel Studios isn't known for their one-to-one adaptations of comic book stories. That's a good point. Look at projects like Avengers, Age of Ultron, Captain America, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War, WandaVision, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Secret Invasion. Let's just leave that last one off. All of these projects are based on certain comic events that follow central premise of the story Marvel wants to adapt, but they rework it to make it fit their grand overall narrative. And Avengers vs. X-Men could certainly follow soon. Marvel Studios' end goal with the Multiverse Saga is to adapt Secret Wars comic book storyline. Whether the studio is going to adapt the original from the 80s or the modern 2015 version of the story or a blend of both is an article for another time. I think it's a blend. Regardless, they've been setting the seeds for Secret Wars adaptation for a while now. From the Nexus beings and branching timelines to alternate universes and incursions, Marvel is slowly building the base for their adaptation of the multiverse throughout most of the recent projects. But time is running out as we get closer to Avengers Secret Wars. As we know by now, the main comic universe, designated 616 or 199999 if you're wrong, is set on a collision course with another universe via an incursion caused by Doctor Strange at the end of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, there are at very least 3 plausible universes that the Sacred Timeline universe is on an incursion with. 1, Earth 617 from Defender Strange. There's 838 with the Illuminati. Lastly, there's the universe inhabited by Sinister Strange, which was already showcasing the effects of an incursion. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be that one because it's already had an incursion, right? Although I suppose you could have two. And then he talks about Monica Rambeau. When Monica Rambeau was first introduced to the MCU, she was an 11-year-old daughter of Maria Rambeau and Captain Marvel. But then she went on to follow her mother's footsteps, joining SWORD, and eventually being assigned to the Westview incident in WandaVision. Mephisto, where she obtained her powers following an encounter with the Scarlet Witch. Following the incident, she was recruited by Nick Fury into Saber, where she later reunited with Aunt Carol Danvers, joining forces with Kamala Khan to stop the Kree Dar-Ben from destabilizing the universe, but not before the Kree were able to open up a rift in the multiverse, where Rambeau crossed over to the other side of the rift. She currently resides in the other universe alongside a variant of her mother known as Binary and Dr. Hank McCoy, aka Beast. And then we're going to get into the part that we already read, but according to sources, with Monica Rambeau trapped in another universe, her character is set to take center stage as one of the key players in the future that is to come. Her presence in another universe will be one of the main catalysts that will push the events of Secret Wars forward, as her presence in this alternate universe, seemingly implied to be the one inhabited by X-Men, is headed for a collision course with the main 616 timeline. It is unknown if this alternate universe is the Foxverse, set to take center stage in the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine film, or if it is simply another alternate universe inhabited by the X-Men. Still, the answer should become more apparent when the highly anticipated Deadpool sequel releases. Nevertheless, an incursion between a universe inhabited by the X-Men and the main MCU universe inhabited by the Avengers is set to happen. So how could Marvel Studios handle this potential in Incursion. Avengers vs. X-Men, the final incursion. What a title. I think that's dope, man. One of the ways Marvel Studios could adapt the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline is by combining it with the elements of Time Runs Out. I agree. In which the 616 universe was headed on a collision course with the 1610 universe, the Ultimates universe, the final incursion before the multiverse ended. Marvel could very well combine these elements to create a story tackling all these points in the road to Avengers Secret Wars. Another reason why this works is it would create a perfect scenario in which neither team is necessarily a clear antagonist, and both teams are justified in their actions, trying to save their respective universe. Not to mention, we have yet to determine the full extent of this alternate universe, which will collide with the main MCU universe. That's true. Does this universe only have the X-Men, or are there other heroes? Does this universe have its own set of Avengers? Do the Avengers in this universe still have the 6 core members? Is it possible for the story infinite and hopefully come to fruition? What do you think? And again, he talked about this in an earlier article as well. So, yeah, kind of cool. What do you think, chat? What do you think? The real Jesse Lee Reed says, I love X-Men comics, but if MCU doesn't establish them in their own live-action property first, I won't care about them in an Avengers vs. X-Men movie. I mean, that's a take. I'm sure there's some people that agree. I'm sure there's some people that disagree. Yeah. Some people agree, some people disagree. It's another hit your member chat. I absolutely will. Let me just say this, though. This is a thing with the Fantastic Four as well. So I hope people realize that the Fantastic Four movie is them in a different reality. And Daniel reported on that again. Like, we've known about this for like over a year, but he reported on it again, and I saw how people reacted on like Twitter and Reddit, and people just can't get it, and they don't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even like it. Like, I don't like the idea of establishing the Fantastic Four in a different universe. Like, it's so weird to me. I don't really like it, but that is what they're doing. And so I think that this whole, like, they're looking at the Multiverse Saga as a way to have some of this fun, but also, like, consolidate things. Because I think Pedro and all of them for the Fantastic Four cast, they're the Fantastic Four in 616 after Secret Wars, right? So, like, after the reboot or the soft reboot, they will be the Fantastic Four. Right? It is weird, huh? Super weird. Because the X-Men and FF were away from the MCU in the beginning. Yeah, but you can just as easily say, yeah, here's why, or like figure it out. Like, there's this thing called writing that exists, and you could like explain it via what's known as a story. I know. What a wild idea. What a wild idea. Okay, let's see what Kendall's member chat was. With the timeline things from X-Men 97, could we be watching the X-Men's prelude for live-action Secret Wars? Feel like hard on timeline implications. Could timeline changes connect 97 to 838? Yeah, it could, for sure. Absolutely could. And I think that I don't think it's 838 anymore, though, bro. I think it's this new wherever Monica is, that's the one. You know what I mean? So that's what I think is happening. That's what I think is happening. All those years of film school really paid off. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Do you think the reboot will be in the new Fantastic Four universe instead of the main MCU universe? No, that universe is going to be destroyed. They're going to destroy the universe where... Well, they're all going to be destroyed, actually. Yeah. I think all the universes will be destroyed. It'll be down to just the Void for Battleworld. That's what I think, anyway. Yeah. What's the new universe going to be called? The Billy Bob Joe universe. Universe Billy Bob Joe. And they won't just have pineapple on pizza. They're going to have pineapples on burgers. And by the way, we're done with gambling. I'm shutting it down. Get your last couple rolls in. I'll give you 30 seconds. Get a couple rolls in, and I'm shutting the gambling down. I'm shutting it down. My buddies were hitting me up, dude. They're all excited, dude. It's time to play some Warhammer, baby. Yo, guys, throw a 1 into the chat if you're really excited for more Warhammer coverage. And then once Cavill's Warhammer Cinematic Universe starts, we're basically going to become a Warhammer channel. You know, I got to get Warhammer Explained back up again. Throw a 1 into the chat if you're so excited for that shit. I know you are. I know you are. Let's go. You know what's crazy? Like, I have actually converted a lot of you to be at least interested in Warhammer. It took like a couple of years. But I think I got a lot of you, like, real talk. I think a lot of you are actually a little bit more interested in it now than you were before, right? I've lost interest. How dare you? I miss the Warhammer content. Me too, bro. I've been thinking a lot about it. We're very close. We're very close. We've got a couple of new editors in rotation. I'm trying to shore up some stuff, and then I'll have more time, and we can get that going on for sure. Josh, My Time to Shine responded to the World War Hulk as Avengers 5. Yes, she probably said no, but here's the thing. I don't think it's going to necessarily be called World War Hulk. But I do think... I definitely think there's evidence to suggest that Avengers 5 will be about an evil Hulk. And that video is probably going to come out tomorrow. We have one of the new editors working on that right now. So that's not cap, dude. Like, there's actually evidence that that's what they're doing. But at this point in time, and this is kind of an interesting time for us as Marvel fans, World War Hammer. Oh my God, please. Yes, please. This is what's interesting, okay? As Marvel fans, we have to recognize that there's a lot of changes happening. There's a lot of stuff that they don't want to change, and Marvel is desperately trying to figure all of that out right now. So there's going to be some stuff that gets kind of kicked up in the chaos that ends up being wrong and ends up getting debunked. But I promise you, these are actual conversations that are happening. I can also promise you that Marvel was absolutely developing the idea of Kang working with other villains throughout the multiverse. That was absolutely something they were working on, and it's likely something they're going to adapt for like their new plan. But we don't know yet. Like, we gotta wait. I think San Diego Comic-Con, we're gonna get a lot of answers at San Diego Comic-Con. How do you change without changing anything? Bro, it's very challenging and tough, but it's, you know, it's one of those nuanced kind of things, you know? It's like do or do not. You know what it's like, Mav? This is what it is. Let me answer this question in a way that specifically for Mav, he'll get it. He'll understand. He'll resonate it, okay? You ever read the Tao Te Ching? You know about this? You know about the Tao? The Tao does nothing. And yet, it leaves nothing undone. Think about it. Think about it. That's the answer. Yeah. All right. Should we get... Wait, how's the gambling still on? I thought I shut that off. Oh, okay. People are just trying, but it's done. I miss when Josh never talked about Warhammer. How dare you? Should we just make the teams right now? Should I go get all my Warhammer models and we can start to like build the team together right now? The real Jesse Lee Reed says, I don't care what universe the FF movie takes place in as long as it doesn't suck. I'm so tired of bad FF and terrible VVD portrayals. Last chance. Yeah, I hear you. You won't. Right now. Yes. See you all Monday. Hey, how dare you? How dare you, Justin? Actually, let me check on something real quick. Stan's probably all mad at me. Oh shit. Okay, he's got something cooking. He's got something cooking here. Unfortunately, it's not any of your characters though. But yeah, we're getting close here. What was that 19 minutes ago? Oh, that's cool. Should I show you a little something? Should I tease a little something here? What percentage of your characters use hammers in game? Not a lot. My Dark Angels, I had a bunch of Terminators that used hammers. Yeah, but unfortunately they kind of fucked me over with the Dark Angel shit. Like they literally took my favorite unit out of the game basically. Like if you're a Dark Angels player, like so there was the command squad, the Deathwing command squad. Okay? And the Deathwing command squad, it was awesome. It was also kind of busted. Okay? So basically once per turn, you could literally bring one of your dead models back, full health, no cost. You just bring one of your models back every single upkeep of a turn. And I got to tell you, it was fucking glorious. I loved it, bro. It was my favorite unit in the game. I took so much time painting these models. I loved these models, bro. And then Games Workshop was like, yeah, that's a little busted, so now it's gone. Like, what? So it's just gone. My favorite unit in the game is just fucking gone. Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, good. Cool. That's awesome. Great. Okay, so I'll show you a little tease here. This is in Chapter 3 of Unity. And it's so funny and ironic because this is going to end up being a splash page that has 6 different characters on it. 4 of them were created by some of you guys, right? These are the 2 female versions that were not created by you guys. So I find it kind of funny that Stan did these ones first. And I know it's wild, but you just gotta trust me. You'll see when it all comes together. Yeah, it's getting wild. It's getting wild, bro. Whammon? Yes, couple of ladies. So this is a like demon kind of chick. She has like this green fire. And then this over here is literally like I told him, I was like, I want a sexy cat lady that has a bunch of massive guns like fucking Rocket Raccoon or like 90s Cable. So that's what we got. And they're really cool. You'll see them in action. It'll be cool. Beebs, says Conu. Warhammer, more like lame hammer, says Chris over on Twitter. Now I'm getting hate, not just on YouTube, but over on Twitter. You got multi-platform Warhammer hate. I can't fucking believe it. I can't believe it. It's crazy. Okay. Should we get into Q&A? We should probably get into Q&A, man. Because I got to get out of here and go work on my Warhammer. And get ready for all that. You know what I mean? I'm real excited about it. So, all right, here we go. Yava. Hey, it's good to see you, Yava. Says, Nerd Vengers, woot. I'm going to do a Monsterverse watch-a-thon tomorrow for Godzilla vs. Kong. Dude, that sounds awesome. I want to see Godzilla Kong, whatever the hell the new one is. I want to see it. But yeah. GW changing rules for money and squatting units? Never. No, I know. It sucks, but I'm new to this game, so they really ripped my heart out with that one. Dylan says, does it count as extra if I smashed my son's preschool teacher yesterday? God damn it. Jack Della Sola, welcome back to the Nerd Avengers, baby. It's good to see you. Jedi John says, happy Easter. Sending y'all love from Texas. Be safe when you're traveling. True. Dylan says, Nerd Avengers for life. Have a great day, man. Yeah, no, thanks, man. Appreciate you, Dylan. Thanks for all of the funny chat. GrizzlyCon says, I'm 2 episodes behind on Invincible and have watched X-Men multiple times. It's a damn shame because Invincible is one of my favorite comics, but it has fallen off. Yeah, you see that, Adam? You see that, Adam? Are you still in here? That's what it is. And I agree, dude. X-Men 97 is fire. Like, you just kind of can't deny it. Like, it is absolutely fire, bro. 48 hours to go on the Kickstarter. We just went over 11 grand, so I really appreciate everybody. Go back Unity as well. You got a lot to do today. You know? You got a lot to do, but you're going to get it done. Jack says, the fight between Invincible and Anissa wasn't from the comics. She never went to go see Mark and Amber and threaten him with her life. Yeah, as far as I remember, it was 2 other Viltrumites that show up on Earth, and they give Mark the ultimatum, and then Anissa shows up, I think. But, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And Anissa's awesome. Like, they did her justice, and also, yeah, if you know where that's going, that's going to be crazy, dude. And again, thanks to Parker Thwibs for gifting 10. Man, I'm so happy you got the job. You know, we were talking a little bit in the DMs, man, and, dude, the job market right now is crazy. It's fucking wild. So, dude, good for you. I'm happy for you, bro. Star Wars Oddball says, genuinely enjoying all these characters-focused shows. Bad Batch, X-Men, Invincible. Such good, nerdy stuff. Well-written relationships and development. Dude, I agree. I think we've got some really good stuff going on right now. You know, a lot of it's, like, kind of low-key, though, because it's, like, animated stuff. Not everybody's talking about it. Yeah, it's kind of odd. Like, the vibe's a little different because, like, there's so many disgruntled fans and a lot of people that just want to hate on shit. So the vibe's a little bit different, but just as a nerd and as a fan of this content, I like Invincible. X-Men 97 is great. Bad Batch is the best Star Wars we've had in years. 3 Body Problem was fire. I'm enjoying a lot of anime right now, like Solo Leveling's freaking awesome. Shogun's freaking awesome. Like, bro, like, we're kind of in a golden age with a lot of television right now. It's really good. Rhett Proctor says, the only thing about this Avengers vs. X-Men idea before Secret Wars, it worries me, is the Patrick Stewart and the Ian McKellen. They aren't getting any younger. Yes, and I agree with you. But here's what I'll say on that, right? Like, you obviously want them for Secret Wars. But if Secret Wars gets pushed back, I think you need them in an Avengers vs. X-Men movie. Like, you need them. And so this is a way to kind of have that early. Because even if they don't necessarily make it into Secret Wars, you can still have Hugh, Toby, a lot of these other guys. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks to say, but it is kind of a reality of the situation that they're getting older, man, you know? Kendall says, with the timeline, things from X-Men 97, could we be watching the X-Men's prelude to live action for Secret Wars? Feel like hard-on timeline implications could trigger timelines connections. Yeah, so... You know what's funny about this, man? It reminds me of something somebody said about Deadpool and Wolverine. So, you know how the continuity of the Fox X-Men movies, like, made no sense? Like, even when they tried to clean it up, you're like, bro, what the fuck? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? Well, they're going to play off of that in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think it's going to be something as simple as, well, the X-Men are constantly time traveling, so y'all got way more fucking branch realities than like Avengers. And so that's why all of y'all are on the void, because the universe or the multiverse is collapsing, but there's just way more X-Men realities than there are Avenger realities because they do time travel all the time. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair assessment, and maybe that's what they're gonna do. You know, via more time travel, they're gonna kind of connect them. It would be cool. I'd be down. The Exodus says, Fox vs. MCU while Strange and Doom confront the Beyonder. By the time both realize what Doom is going to do, it's too late. And we get a cliffhanger. I mean, you're talking my language, dude. You're talking my language. Like, that sounds fantastic. That's a great way to do it. Josh should do call-ins. Guys, I would love... I mean, look, I can't do call-ins today because I got to get out of here. I got to go work on my teams. We're supposed to play at 4. And I got to get all my models lined up. I got to do some glue jobs. I got to slap a little paint on here and there. Like, y'all know how hard it is, okay? You guys don't know how hard it is to get in front of the camera and the mic every day and talk about nerdy shit and to just, you know, do nerdy videos. You don't know what my life is like. You don't understand the difficulty of this. It's so difficult to talk about nerdy shit for a living. So maybe just give me just a little bit of a break and let me go have some Warhammer fun, you know? Zach says, I'm hyped for X-Men vs. Avengers, but I also get too hyped without thinking about what a wasted opportunity it would be to not bring back RDJ and Evans. Yeah, if you're doing Avengers vs. X-Men, I almost feel like you gotta bring back RDJ. That would be so cool, bro. Stop playing with dolls. Hey, you don't say that. So you're taking a nap. I might take a nap, Justin. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't going to bring it up. You know, you brought it up. I wasn't going to bring it up. But, yeah, I might go upstairs, take a little nap, wake up, stretch out, you know, pick my team with the minis. And, I mean, you know, who knows? Sheesh. Yeah, Zach, that's actually a great point, though, bro. Bringing back RDJ and Chris Evans, like, come on. Is there a stream Monday? Hell yeah. There should be a stream Monday for sure. Unless I throw my back out again at Easter. Maybe I shouldn't pass the yams around, you know? This will be me on Easter. I'll be like, oh, here you go. Here's the yams. And then I got to walk around like this for another 3 days. Because this was me on Monday. And even when I canceled the stream, it was like this. Like that's how I had to. Nice yams? Jesus Christ. Okay. D. Murdoch says, Josh, you think after Secret Wars, the MCU will do any expanded universe stuff? Some wild stuff like Punisher, War Machine, Spider-Man 2099, things like that. I think there is certainly a possibility of that stuff happening. I actually think there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff happening during Secret Wars. And I think between the collapse of the multiverse and the end of Secret Wars, I think in that in-between, you actually have the opportunity to do a bunch of crazy shit. So hopefully they do it sooner rather than later. George Carlos with a 10 spot. That's very generous, man. Says, call it Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm still expecting the Deadpool 3 we would have gotten from Fox after we get Deadpool and Wolverine. How Deadpool would it be to make a prequel to a second sequel? X-Force. Dude, that would be kind of fun. That's not a bad idea. I guess you could do something like that. It would be kind of fun. I'm really interested to see how do they utilize Deadpool after this movie? I really am interested in that for sure. Captain Zigit says Friday off work, edible watching stream, saw Godzilla Kong last night. Damn, it was a good weekend. Oh shit, bro, you're ahead of all of us. You're ahead of all of us. That's fun, though, man. Good for you. The Exodus says, Fox Universe turns the Savage Hulk against the MCU. Ooh, that's kind of a fun idea. Yeah, that could be a fun idea. I'd be down with that. Lou says, I have little hope based on recent adaptations of book, such as Secret Invasion. They adapted Masterpiece into narrative-driven gobbledygook. Hot trash. Yeah, no, I mean, dude, they've certainly fucked up. You won't find me saying, no, they've done nothing wrong. But I think there's a lot of reasons for it. And I think the good news is, like, regardless of how you feel about it, and by the way, if you're a skeptic of it, that's fine. Totally understand. But you should also understand that, like, they realize how bad it is. I mean, last year was so bad. So bad, man. So they realize how bad it is. They understand things need to change. And I think what we're talking about here is, with that in mind, how are they addressing some of the problems? You know what I mean? The real Jesse Lee Reed says, I don't care what universe the FF takes place in as long as it doesn't suck. I'm so tired of bad FF and terrible VVD portrayals. Last chance. Yeah, they need to nail Victor for sure. But Doom isn't going to be in there until like the end or whatever. So, Philip Hatch says, Josh, this might be a question for a Prime stream, but how important is it to be one of the first people to break a scoop or cover an episode? I would say it depends on what is the channel. So if the channel's a breakdown channel, for sure. Like you want to be, if not first, very early, right? But there are other channels, like some channels actually live and breathe off of recommended views off of breakdown channels. So for those channels, you don't need it out right away. You know, you just need it out within some kind of a reasonable timeline to get some of that traffic. Some channels are trying to make like search content, evergreen content. It really depends. It depends on what the goals are. It depends on what is the brand of the channel. Does that make sense? Mav says, the trouble with FR, Hollywood doesn't know how to generally functioning family. Oh, the FF, right. Broken family is the shortcut to story conflict. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. We're just going to have to wait and see how they handle it. You know? It's funny, we just read, I think it was a couple of months ago, we read the Jonathan Hickman Fantastic Four stuff. And the way he incorporates family into that is so brilliant, and it feels so right. So hopefully they take some notes from him, which they usually do. We're just going to have to wait and see, but I understand the skepticism. Cole Maynard says, yo, Papa Josh, did you get the gold Midas idea from the golden Midas in Fortnite? It would, if so, would afraid they came after you for copyright. Much love. No. What is the golden Midas in Fortnite? I don't even know what that is. But Midas obviously is a character from Greek mythology, right? Midas himself is kind of a combination of a ton of different characters, like the early Adam Warlock stuff, Superman 1 million, other characters that I don't want to necessarily talk about because they kind of give away an element of the twist about the character. But no, it's an original character. Midas was a character in Fortnite. King Midas had the touch of gold. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the King Midas. Yeah, from Greek. Midas changes oil. All right. Okay, Justin Yale says, Sony posted short Spider-Verse film on YouTube. Thoughts? Yeah, my thoughts are that they probably want to look at what they did, see how fans responded, and probably never do it again. I mean, have you guys watched it? I don't think a lot of people are watching it, man. He's a character in Fortnite that touches anything and it becomes gold. Oh, okay. Right on. They almost look identical. What do you mean? Like, because they're golden? Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not worried about it at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. Not even a little bit am I worried about that. Midas, my Midas, is an original creation. He's a completely unique character. He's not a copy of anything. So, 1.6 million views on the Spider-Verse vid. Okay. I guess that's good. I don't know. Did any of you guys watch it? I haven't. They have it on 2 channels. Okay. 3.2 on another. Well, I mean, that's pretty decent. Those are pretty good views. I watched it, and it's not that it's bad. It's just not what I want from them right now. Yeah, so I kind of heard it was about, like, mental health. Is that what it's about? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, on the one hand, Peter has always dealt with mental health. So, like, the tradition of, like, Spider-Man dealing with real-world problems is applicable to Miles. It's applicable to the identity of that character in finance. You know, it's fine. On the other hand, like, I'm not trying to watch that shit. Like, that doesn't really get me excited. You know? I think certain explorations of mental health can be really interesting, you know, depending on the lensing, depending on the characters or whatever. But just real talk, Spider-Man, like, I want to watch a Miles Morales short about mental health. Hey, man, maybe I'm just old. Maybe there's a ton of people that is, you know, awesome and they resonate with it and they think it's really cool. I don't give a shit. It's kind of where I'm at. Basically boiled down to overwhelmed and had a panic attack and goes to talk to his dad and it ends. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's a weird one. I don't know. I mean, it's Sony. But, yeah. Wait, what's this? 14 minutes ago. This account here? Who is this account? What are they talking about? Isn't this crazy? Hang on. I wish Geeky was in here. He would know who this is. I've heard this account name before, though. Ajap Arts. Avengers Kang Dynasty is Avengers versus X-Men. I mean, that's kind of what we've been talking about all day. Who is this motherfucking account? Okay, so they do have some shit. Interesting. Okay, so they got some stuff. Interesting. I'd be down. It's kind of what we've been talking about. Avengers versus X-Men. That would be much better. Josh doesn't support mental health, confirmed. No, I mean, mental health is crucial, man. But you know what you need to do for mental health? You need to you need to do basic shit first before you get overwhelmed or, seek, medical help. You got to have proper diet, exercise, and sleep. Like, sleep is maybe the most important thing a human being does every day as far as upkeep on their mental health. So, maybe he should have just, taken a nap. Did his dad tell him to do some push-ups and take a nap? How'd they fix the problem? And look, I'm not saying that it can't get more extreme than that. I've had my issues for sure. I have anger problems. I'm neurodivergent. I have adult ADHD and I have anger problems. So I suffer with mental health hardcore. I deal with it every day. But the truth is, I know if I'm not getting sleep, if I'm not getting exercise, if I'm not eating right and eating clean, I'm way more susceptible to little triggers or, things that'll throw me off and stuff like that. So, dude, I live that shit. But it's what are you going to do about it? And you snort after every sentence. That's not true. I don't know what you're talking about. It's fucking crazy talk. How could you say that and put that into the chat? How dare you? Should I go get all my models? Are we going to make the armies and the Warhammer stuff together? I'm just kidding. I probably got to get it out of here. Appreciate you guys, though. Will you be selling the Unity comic book by itself after it's done, or the only way to get it through the Kickstarter? Eventually, you will be able to get a copy of Unity outside of the Kickstarter, but I can't really tell you when or how. Mostly because we're going to be pitching to publishers, so it kind of might be up to them. You know what I mean? So if you want to get it on Kickstarter. If you can't get it right now, yes, you will be able to get it later. You will be able to get it later. Josh, I hope Arcane doesn't suffer the same issues Invincible going through. And how do they avoid it? I mean, I hope the same thing, man. I would just say the team itself, you know, hopefully they just have better strategies, more support, and hopefully the animation is just fire, right? Animation's fire, no breaks mid-season. You know, they have the binge thing going on there, so people are going to tear through that. I think they'll be fine. I think Arcane will be fine. So. All right, everybody. Much love. I have no issue sleeping right now. I'm in week 3 of 5 of mesocycle. And fatigue is high, but workouts are also great. I don't know what that means, but I know you're always working on your body, working on your mind, Trend, so appreciate you, man. Takes time. It's a battle, man. It's a battle, you know? All right, everybody. What would you think of getting published in Australia, or will it get delivered either way? What do you think about getting published in Australia, or will it have to get it delivered either way? I don't really have an answer for you on that. I know that technically we're shipping worldwide, so you can get it shipped to Australia through us and the Kickstarter. And then again, I would just have to see what the publisher says. So, I'm not sure. Not sure how to answer it. I'm beat, but I feel great. My arms feel like they weigh a ton. Hell yeah, bro. Keep going, man. All right, guys. All right, everybody. Much love. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. God damn it, chat. You have one job. You have one job. What is your problem? Just get it going again. Jesus. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Yeah, man. Another happy landing. Oh man, it's gonna be Warhammer time soon. Woo! Oh hell yeah. sure you guys have a fun, fulfilling weekend. Get outside a little bit, touch grass, get some sun. And I'll see you guys. We'll have videos over the weekend. We'll be back at it on Monday. Remember to open up your third eye and wash out your stinky butt.